All right, so I get this question a lot, and I'm sure it would be helpful for a lot of people if I explain it further. But we're going to talk about what actually happens in a hypnotherapy session. Now, this is important for me to answer because it's not always easily accessible like stage hypnotism is, where you have a ton of YouTube videos seeing people getting pulled up from a crowd or called up onto the stage, and you see the hypnosis being done, or in public, whatever it is. But hypnotherapy itself doesn't really get a lot of visibility, also because of client privacy, right? A lot of people don't want their sessions being made public, and I haven't really published many, if any, videos on my hypnotherapy sessions, which I should do. So maybe I'll do it. Maybe here, let me write that down. Um, as another video, I'll do a live session. Great. All right. So a hypnotherapy session, um, the duration depends on the nature of what's being addressed here, and also the effectiveness of the hypnotherapist and how good they are. But it should take no more than 60 minutes, so 1 hour. And every hypnotherapist, every hypnotist structures their session differently. For myself, I know that a lot of the success of the hypnotherapy session will depend on how comfortable the patient feels and how relaxed they are. And you will only be hypnotized to the extent that you are willing to allow yourself to relax. And so it's my job, I understand, as a hypnotherapist, to hold space for the client so that they feel safe, they feel comfortable. And a lot of this is rapport, which is developed in the consultation, right, beforehand, which is why I spend so much time for free speaking to the clients that I may or may not work with, right, so that we get to know each other. And so the first, I would say, now mind it, at this point I had already spent a lot of time creating a hypnosis, curating a hypnosis session for them, be it ambient music, noting down specific things that I'm going to touch on. I rarely, if ever, use a script nowadays, but anyway. And then I also supply them, I tend to supply them with material afterwards, usually a recording. But for the sake of this video, we'll stick to the session. I spend a good 15, 20 minutes strictly focused on getting the patient as relaxed as possible. So this usually looks like a lot of breath work, right? And you'd be surprised as to how many of us don't breathe properly, right? Most of the population doesn't breathe properly. And so this affects everything: mental performance, mental agility, your body, right? Oxygen heals the brain and heals the body, right? We have oxygen in our blood. And so the level of relaxation that people can reach when they just start breathing properly again is amazing. And I get this from the meditation background as well, right? So I guess that's my edge. But I always ask after every session, I'm like, on a scale of 1 to 10, when we started, how relaxed were you? And they usually give me about maybe a 2 to 4, meaning that they were very nervous or anxious or excited but not relaxed, anything but relaxed. And then I ask them at the deepest point of your relaxation, how relaxed were you? And it's usually between a 9 and 11 out of 10. So tells you. And so it's a good 10, 15 minutes of just breath work, meaning deep breaths in and out, in and out. And of course, I'm saying things in between. And then I'm walking them deeper and deeper into their state of relaxation, their comfort zone. And when they are that relaxed, nothing else matters. Time begins to slow down and eventually stop. And then it's at this point, and they don't really realize it, but they're about 20 minutes in. To them, it feels like maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And that discrepancy gets bigger and bigger, meaning that I'm aware of how much time is passing, but they're not. And I'm through my prompts, I'm walking them deeper into visualization, helping them get into a relaxed state, which is almost like a dream state. But in this case, I am telling them what to see in their dream. So I am essentially, as the hypnotist, painting the picture that they see. I'm casting their dream for them, or I'm helping them cast their dream rather through prompts. That's essentially what hypnotherapy is, right? And a lot of it, depending on what they seek, but usually it takes a structure of revisiting past events that were based in childhood. And you'd be surprised at the degree of clarity that people can recall events from their childhood, things that were always there, but they were never really actively aware of or actively thinking about. And and then from there, it's a lot of visualization about what they want their future to or their ideal self to look like, and a lot of synchronization and calibration with that best version of themselves. From there, it's a lot of visualization about their desired reality. Because remember, all this is for them to get calibrated literally from a mental standpoint, beliefs wise, and literal physical sensations and feelings of what their best version of themselves feels like, so that they can then do things in accordance with that feeling, right? That's literally how we become the best version of ourselves, is we know how that feels like and we do things that reinforce that feeling and that belief, period. Right? Hypnosis is just a very potent way of feeling that. Like, you literally feel like that, right? Um, and I'm trying to keep this simple and not get too much into the scientific jargon, but yeah, so it's a hypnosis. I mean, I'm talking all the way through because a lot of it's over Zoom, because ideally it would be in person, but I work with clients all over the world, so it's on Zoom. And I need to see if I need to make sure that I haven't knocked the person out unconscious, which has never happened. But I see this because sometimes I pop back into the Zoom and I observe their pace of breathing, making sure that they're still with me and that they're not like totally slumped over, right? They're usually something like this, chin dropped as I instruct them to, but not like totally gone, right? Because part of my instruction is when I say the word sleep, you're not going to sleep. Your eyes will stay closed and you'll enter a state of complete relaxation, right? Typical. And so it's prompts in a structured way, because we have to rewire old beliefs and then program them with new beliefs according to the version of themselves that they'd like to exist as. And then let's reinforce that by visualizing and putting ourselves in scenes of our desired reality. Then I count them back up slowly, having really worked with the subconscious mind at this point. And then they come out of their session, let's say about having been under for about 45 to 50 minutes. And they usually feel like it was about 20 minutes. Maybe. I've had someone say it felt like it was like 10 minutes. 5-10 minutes. And they were down under for about 50-55 minutes. So it tells you how the time dilation works. And I give them a couple of minutes to process. They usually are like, they're bawling, emotional, or they're super calm. I often, like, I had a lady say she's never felt that relaxed in her life. So stuff like that. And I give them a minute to process it. Then I ask them some debrief questions. The debrief is important so that they can learn as they sit with this for the next few days, weeks, months. They know how to process what just happened. Excuse me. So it's a lot of questions about, like, what did you see? How did that make you feel? Did you feel did you feel that best version of yourself physically, mentally? Do you feel that rewiring yourself on a cellular level? They always say yes. And just talking about their outlook on life, and it's always changed. It after that session, it always changes. Either their outlook always changes their outlook on life always changes, but it's also like they get confronted with their old beliefs, right? And it's worked when they are at least confronting their old beliefs, because that means that when you start to question things, that means you're ready for the next level, right? People who are doomed and slaves to their beliefs, they never question them. People who are slave to their beliefs never question them. So there are subtle indicators that I know it worked. Number one, by their demeanor and how calm they are or excited they are. But point blank period, there's a change in physical demeanor, eye contact, lack of twitching, stuff like that, like physical changes. Number one. Number two, what they say in the debrief, how their perspective has changed. A lot of times they say that they've given themselves permission to be successful now. You know, how they talk about the things that they witnessed in when going back to their childhood, like how, the level of emotional maturity that they talk about that stuff with. And yeah, it's really powerful stuff, guys. Really, really powerful stuff. But that's that in a nutshell. You know, it's nothing too fancy. But the biggest thing is how well you can get someone to relax, being a stranger, right? So that's what I'm really good at. Is I'm good at taking people in the middle of their day, in the middle of their work day, or in the middle of a busy week. I'm really good at taking them from high performing mode to like completely relaxed, no matter the time of the day, and then having them walk through a different parallel reality in their head, having that calibrate with their brain at the deepest level and their body, so they're now synchronized and calibrated with who they want to be, and they know how to act. And their subconscious mind is now programmed in a way where it's unconsciously going to act as a filter that attracts them to people, places, and things that are in alignment with that feeling, or repels them from people, places, and things that are out of alignment with that feeling. And that's that. I hope I explained that in well enough detail. But I'm sure it'll help. Now that you have this context, I'm sure it'll help to see a live session. So I guess I'll make that a project for the near future. But anyway, questions and comments in the comments. Like button, subscribe button. You guys know the drill. See you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.